Okay, great. Well, like I said, welcome everyone. Today we're going to go through session 2 of our bootcamp, how to keep projects on track, and specifically looking into schedule, tasks, and daily logs. So as I've already mentioned, your speakers today, so you have myself. If you've not met me before, my name's Anna Coburn. I'm the senior manager of the account manager teams for the UK and Germany. So our account manager teams are our CSMs, and if you have an ultimate package with Houzz, you would have a CSM who's looking after you and helping you on your way within your program. And Jonathan, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey, folks, for anybody who hasn't met me, I'm working with the product marketing team. And basically, what we do in a very short soundbite is we get feedback from the customers, the likes of yourselves, and turn that into tickets to create new products or fix bugs. So I suppose my role is to educate you guys as well as give feedback to the product team in order to create a better experience for the end user. So that's where I fit into the whole org.
Absolutely, a very important role for sure. Cool. So talking us through our agenda today. So first of all, we're going to talk about some product challenges as a bit of an introduction into this. Then we'll move on to a featured demo, which will be done by Jonathan. And then I'll take over again with some key takeaways and next steps. But before we dive in, I just want to say, everyone, feel free to ask questions. We're going to share a lot of information with you, but I do want you to feel like you could take yourself off mute, ask a question. You can also put questions in the chat, which Jonathan and I will be monitoring. So yeah, get involved. As I talk a lot at you, I still want you to feel involved. I do have a question to kick us off. I just wanted to ask if anyone is, or just what people are using at the moment to plan out their projects in terms of like a schedule or a timeline. If anyone is using any software tools or if it's all in your head.
Mhm. I've been using Next Minute.
Oh, next minute. Okay. I've not heard of that one.
Yeah, it's quite a good one. But yeah, their costs are going through the roof. So that's why I'm looking to use what's included in your package. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yes. A lot of people don't realize that we have many different tools. It's kind of an end-to-end solution. So if it could be more cost effective for you. Cool. Anyone else have any softwares they're using?
I've been using a magnetic board.
A magnetic board, very high tech.
Yes.
Is that magnetic board in your office?
Yeah, can you see me?
I can see you. Yeah, is it right behind you?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
That is as high tech as it gets. And
We've
how,
been using it for 25 years and it's still working.
okay, and has it ever failed you?
Only when children come into the office and play with the magnets.
Yes, I can see how that could fail you there. What do you do, David, when you need to kind of access or remember what's on the magnetic board and it's not right in front of you?
So I take a photograph of it
Right.
every couple of weeks. And then if I'm out on site and I need to change something, I phone up the office, ask them to change it,
Great. Cool.
which could be nicer to have a system on my phone.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll be able
That's
to
it.
suggest some improvements.
Yeah, that's the
Thank you.
idea. That's the idea, David. So yeah, hopefully you can see that you can also have something alongside your magnetic board.
Yes.
Definitely. So perfect. I'll move on to the introduction. Thank you for sharing, those of you who spoke up. But yeah, as an introduction today, I'm going to talk you through some insight that we gathered from homeowners who were undergoing projects last year. And I'm going to talk you through some of the challenges they face and what challenges then can be eliminated when you implement a clear schedule and have clear organization when you're planning or carrying out your project. So we surveyed 3,500 homeowners who completed or were in the middle of completing a kitchen and bathroom renovation in July 2023. So In an era where customer expectations are constantly evolving, understanding their needs and their desires as homeowners has never been more critical. So by enhancing your customer satisfaction and using software, you can unlock your potential for increased products and productivity, and paving the way for sustainable growth and success, and having a competitive advantage in this landscape, which is only getting more and more competitive, I feel, as every year goes on. So nearly half of homeowners that we surveyed said that understanding the project timeline and the impacts on the schedule, getting timely and accurate communication on budget tracking, led to challenges during a project. So basically the lack of having this information. So if I go on to the next slide, these are verbatim some of what the homeowners were saying to us in terms of the challenges that they were facing. So some of the feedback was that we were getting not enough communication with delays. They were lacking a visual representation, so they would like a timing flow, even if it's just an estimate of how the project, each phase of the project, and we know there can be many phases that depend on each other as well, having a visual of that. They also brought up crew management, so knowing when people are going to be in their home, so people coming into on site, how long for, what's the tasks they're doing, centralized communication, so knowing the start date and delays of that again, updates on scheduling and materials, and then communication on timeline and completion date too. These are the challenges that come up when we're not 100% communicating at the level that we need to, and the idea is, like, how do we avoid like really late night texts? How do we allow clients to self-serve these answers? They want to be able to get this information as much as you do. If you had a centralized system, you would be able to have them answer their own questions, because they can find out, okay, they're due on site at this time or on this day, or this has been pushed back for this reason. So this is what we're looking for, and this is the communication level we want to be at. Jonathan is going to talk us through how that looks on Houzz Pro. So a couple of you have mentioned some softwares, some of you are using your magnetic boards. So how does this then translate in from what you're using right now and how can Houzz Pro help you with that? So we're going to go through how you can set up a schedule. Also going to look at creating and assigning tasks if you have any team members. And then also going to look at creating daily logs as well, as part of this overarching aim of better communication in terms of keeping your projects on track with yourself and with your homeowner. Cool, Jonathan, should I stop sharing so you can share?
Over to me. Yes, please. Thanks, Anna. There we go. Yeah, and I suppose, as Anna said at the start, if you do have questions, either stick them into the chat, or just unmute yourselves and ask away. Any questions you have, I'm sure the rest of the people might have them as well, and any clarification I can give, happy to do so. And Anna was kind of giving points there from the homeowner point of view. And communication with the homeowner is just going to make your lives a whole lot easier. And the schedule is one way to do it. Daily logs is another way. But from your own company perspective, like understanding where your team is supposed to be, where your workers are on a given day, and looking 4 or 5 weeks in advance and thinking, okay, I've actually got 2 jobs finishing up in 5 weeks, and that's going to give me a little bit of a breathing space. Maybe I need to start building up that pipeline, and you can then work with other aspects of Houzz to kind of continue to build that pipeline. So I suppose the more you kind of get onto Houzz, the better the project management system becomes on it. So let's run through that. Before I get into it, I'll just show you. So if you go to your company tab here on the left, you can add team members you can add clients, but you can do that at a project creation stage, subcontractors and suppliers. So if you build out your subcontractor list, that won't necessarily invite them to Houzz, but when you assign them to tasks, you can, I suppose, notify them that you've assigned them to an item or a task. And then it's really quick for anyone in your company to just go in and see, okay, Kev's Carpentry is assigned to this task. Here's all of their contact information. So if someone's on site, they can go into the schedule, click on the contractor who's supposed to have turned up an hour ago, get his phone number and find out that he slept in or whatever it is. So the more you fill out your subcontractors, suppliers, and team members, the easier it is for you to just assign these things as you're building schedules or as you're building daily logs and tasks. So I'm going to go into this newly created project and create a schedule. For anybody who has not created a schedule, basically this is what it's going to look like. It's just a blank sheet. You can click to start and start adding phases and items. We do have some suggested schedules up here for you guys. I think it's really handy to start with one of these and have a play around with it, because there's nothing worse than looking at a blank sheet of paper. It kind of it's almost, there's too much choice. So if we say start with the kitchen renovation here, you'll see here really basic ones done out. But again, this will allow you to see what's capable and then match it to your own workflows. And then once you're happy, and I'll show you how we do it, once you set up your first schedule or, use one of the templates to do it, you can then save it to your own templates. And typically what I see is people do like 2 to 3, maybe 4 types of jobs, and then they can apply a template. So in this example, a kitchen, renovation, it's going to follow that same structure for every kitchen renovation you do. Obviously, there will be some differences on a per job basis, and when you apply the template, you can create that. You can create those differences. So let's have this one to start on today's date. Yeah, perfect. Well, let's start it on into June, 3rd of June. We're going to start next Monday. So you apply the template, and everything comes up here in order as the template dictates. So if we have, say, site measure cabinetry, yeah. Oh, sorry, did someone say?
No, I think that was just a cough.
Okay, sorry. So as you have, basically you can see here your preliminaries, demolition, first fix. These are all of your categories, and then everything in them is just an item that fits into that category. So yeah, you can play around with that. You can move names, rename them in here, and also do it out here. When you click on this, you can drag it to make it longer. But when or like order materials here, and then let's say we want to set up a new one, which is site office. So whatever it is, just by clicking on the canvas here, you'll create it. Hit that tick, and then you can drag it across to determine how many days it's going to be. So again, and it'll show you here what it is. By clicking on any of the items, so let's say strip out old kitchen, you'll get this kind of bit of workspace in the right-hand corner here. And here you can kind of assign work days. So it's from the 6th of June to the 6th of June. The strip out kitchen is going to take, let's say 4 days. And that will move it here. But I suppose at this point, you can start assigning people to the items. So that's what I was saying when I was initially talking about like building out your team member list, building out your subcontractor list. In this window here, you can assign team members. So if I assign Lizzie to this, she knows that she's responsible for the strip out of the old kitchen. And again, that's what I was kind of talking about. If you're on site and you've assigned either a team member or you've assigned a subcontractor. And if you guys don't have it, just download the Houzz Pro app. You'll be able to go in there, click on who's assigned, get their contact information really quickly. So again, if you've assigned all these people, you're not available, you're on holidays in the Bahamas, and your guy's on site, as I said, the carpenter hasn't showed up, just goes in, clicks on the icon, their information is available, they give them a call. You don't even have to worry about the carpenter having slept in. You can continue to enjoy your holiday. So that's kind of one of the best.
Sorry, and when you assign someone to that a job, do they get a notification?
So no, they don't get a notification. It's when they get assigned a task, that's when they get a notification.
Okay.
So I'd say, like in the example, like if you were to assign just the electrical guys to the job, they get the electrical company won't get the notification, but all their details will be there and available. But what we are working on and going to bring out is that when you assign your subcontractors to the
project,
to the items, they will get a notification with the subcontractor dashboard. So that's actually coming out at the end of June.
Okay.
And it mirrors the client dashboard. I don't know if you're using that, but it's very similar to how the client dashboard will work. They'll go to a notification to say, you've been assigned to a job. In this case, it'll be Tully Coburn. Jonathan wants you on site on the 10th of June. Are you available? And they can respond in app, or they can send you a text, whatever, and say, yeah, I'm good to go, or no, I'm actually not available that week. So that's coming out at the end of June. But if you do assign them a task, they will get a notification presently.
A quick question: the task, is it where it says tasks there? So it's anything that you add and that create new task?
Yeah. So let's say we got to call supplier, and you can just create that task and go into it here to set your dates on it and assign people to it. So due date's going to be the 13th of June. Again, you got to assign. We can assign Lizzie or Georgia to it, or I go into my, and then if you assign it to the client will get that notification on their client dashboard. So if you need them to sign off on something, you can assign them a task, and they'll get an email to say, Jonathan has assigned you a task. It's due today. We need you to sign off on the finishes for X, Y, and Z. So just again, the client communication is a two-way street. I'm sure everyone on the call will feel that frustration, when clients go missing and we need them to do something. So this is just an additional way to do that. So again, I'll grant this to Kev, and then assign the task to this contractor here. Then you can put a description in here. You can attach pictures, you can attach receipts, you can attach whatever you want to it. And again, the person who's been assigned that task will have access to anything you assign to them.
And just for clarity, we can set this schedule up so it's just a tool that we use with the subcontractors, because some clients aren't interested in the detail. So
absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So I'll show you here as well. So that's the task created on the 13th of June. They'll get that notification to say task is due today. So if you need that task to be completed prior to the 13th of June, obviously you want to do it on the 10th of June, whatever that might be. So the due date is when they will get the notification. So they'll get an initial notification today, and then on the due date, they'll get a subsequent notification, and then any comments with the team or the client in here. And then so to share with, say, the client, you just give them access to the schedule. So and that'll go then onto the client dashboard. But everything kind of has restricted access initially. Just when you're setting things up, you may be chopping and changing and you don't want the client to see all of that. But just by giving them access, it'll go onto the client dashboard. They're not going to get any notifications or anything like that. But if they do want to come in and see it, it will be there for them to see. Or if you do want to assign them tasks, you can do so as well here. Something definitely worth highlighting is the dependencies. So by creating dependencies, and again, we can't start building the walls if we haven't got the foundation poured. If there's a rain delay, all of that will be, I suppose, dependent. So you can create those dependencies and say, again, do the remaining surfaces here, strip out all kitchen. If I move that, if for whatever reason that's been moved, I can't start the next item before that gets finished. So by creating those dependencies, you'll be able to, keep everyone up to speed without the metal board in the background and trying to figure that out and sending pictures into the office. So that's a kind of a good way to do it as well.
And as you've done there, you've just moved them across. Do all the ones below that move across accordingly?
Not if they're not dependent. So,
right.
So again, this is just so if that was dependent on this one, so you can see the remove ceiling moves independently. But if I move out the strip out kitchen, that's the remove ceiling is done with it.
It is similar to Microsoft Project.
Yeah, very similar.
Almost the same, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Is creating a dependency the best way as well to if the whole project schedule is moved forward or delayed? So you've created a schedule and then the start is delayed. Is it the best way to create a dependency between all of the tasks so that when you move the first one, they all move, or is there another way to do that?
Great question. So what I encourage a lot of people to do is send out a project schedule in the estimating phase or the proposal phase, just to show your potential clients, like if we start on the 1st of June, it's going to be a 6-week job. You're going to be in feed up mid-July. And that's it's a powerful visualization for the clients. It looks like an extra layer of professionalism and they feel very comfortable with that. They mull it over. It goes past the 1st of June, but the schedule still remains the same. In actions here, there's a couple of things that we'll run through, but you just move project start date. And by moving the project start date, everything will move as a tier, whether it's dependent or not. The 3rd of June will move to the 3rd of July or whatever that is. So just the move project start date, and you can just select the new start date.
Jonathan, we had a question in the chat, which was, can you explain live mode, please? And also in terms of notification.
Yeah, so you get home from site. So people will be notified if the dependencies are moved or if you've set up tasks and things like that. So live mode is basically everything is happening live. People are being notified as you move things around, as you assign tasks, things are being emailed out. So maybe you don't want to do that because you might have to notify one person about 3 different things and they're getting emails at different times. It can be a bit jarring. By switching over to edit mode, you then basically have run of the place and you can change the schedule as you need to. Nobody's going to get a notification. Nobody can see that. It's not on the client dashboard. So this is basically just you can muck around with it and do whatever you want. Once you're happy with the changes, so I will just do that. Like Lizzie would then get like the notification. You just put it back to live mode. And at that point, the new schedule is updated. Everybody will be notified. So again, people are getting maybe they're getting 2 emails at the same time to say, 2 or 3 of your items have changed on this job, but it's a kind of a much neater experience. So yeah, that's the live and edit mode.
We also have a question just branching off of that. So when in edit mode, can other team members see the changes and updates when and if they log on?
No, not in edit mode. Just you as the admin. We'll have that. We'll be able to see that. So the team members aren't able to see it in edit mode either. It's only when it's posted to the live. As we're in the actions here, you can like set your workday settings. So like, if you work half days Saturdays and don't work Sundays, you can set that in here. And again, that will skip the days that you're not working. Just as an FYI, you can sync up with your calendar, start date. And then here, I suppose, once you create your first schedule and you're comfortable with it, you think, I've nailed this. That's when you can save it as a template. And again, with every job, you just apply that template and it just pops up. And then you can change it on a per job basis. So if there's little things here and there that are different, you can change that. Manage your template, and then you can also export it as a PDF or a PNG. And you can print it up, put it on the office whiteboard, or send it to the clients as well. So that's what you can do in the actions.
One more question, Jonathan. What does set baseline mean?
Very good. So you set your baseline. So track your progress using the baseline, confirm that. And as things change, you can see like how much over the baseline we are. So we're 2 days behind here on plumbing, and that will just have knock-on effects elsewhere on the project. And again, we have to move that 2 days behind again. Let's move it to the next week. And it's just going to leave where the initial projection was. So we were due to finish the plumbing on Friday, the 14th of June. We're actually 5 days late, and we're not going to finish it until Wednesday, the 19th. And then what that allows us to do is at the end of a project, see where we fell behind, see what the big hiccups were. If there was a reason for that, rain delay, it's easily kind of managed. And again, this ties in nicely with, say, the daily logs, which we'll run through in a moment. But, if you can see then a pattern emerging, actually, I'm only given a week for the plumbing, and it's taken us, the guts of 10 days every time. So in my next project, I'm going to need to give myself a little bit of buffer. Why don't I give myself 2 weeks? And if I bring it back, so much the better. And again, it just goes to that communication with your clients, with your subcontractors, and gives you better visibility of like where you might be, tripping up or falling down. So it just makes its visual representation, and it makes it pretty good as you're reviewing projects.
Can you show more than one schedule at a time?
Yeah, so that is in the schedule overview. Let's see if I need it. Oh, sorry. I'll run through that in a minute.
Okay.
So just the different views that are available. So just your calendar view, and you can see everything on the schedule. Like it's just a different view. And then you've got your tasks here. So call supplier, and you can see the tasks, etc. You can see who's been assigned to it, all of that. So and again, here's the list view. Again, it's very similar. You can see everything on schedule, and you can see, say, the plumbing. Okay, we're 2 days behind here on the plumbing. Maybe I can send my framing contractors to another site because we're behind on the plumbing. Things like that. So just again, different views. And again,
are these different views available on the client dashboard and subcontractor dashboard as well, or is just one type of view for them?
So they don't have the list view on the client dashboard. They've got the calendar and the Gantt.
Okay.
And they can't make edits to it either. All they can do is complete tasks. So it's not like the client could come in and say, well, I want it done a week earlier and start making edits. So obviously that would be pretty hectic. Yeah. So they're the different views, and then you can see those various things there. So for multiple schedules at the same time in your search, you just go to the schedule overview and go into June. And here's where we'll be able to see everything that we have going on. So the projects are color coded and you can see them here. I need to close off a couple of the older projects that you can see, but here we've got the top three are brown, pink, and purple, I hope. And you can see what's going on here. And that's kind of what I was saying as well. We got the Gantt view here. And like if you scroll down and if you're running 5 jobs at the same time, you'll be then able to see, okay, the Tully Coburn and the dog patch, they're ending pretty much at the same time. I need to start filling that pipeline and making sure that we don't have idle guys. So one thing that again we're bringing in as a part of just feature updates is the scheduling conflicts. So it's not in right now, but it's a big request. So if, for example, I was scheduling Lizzie to be in the dog patch at the same time I was scheduling her to be in Tully Coburn, a notification will pop up and say there's a scheduling conflict. You can either choose to ignore it or make an amendment. So that's not available right now, but it will be a feature update. It's been highly requested. So again, maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe the 2 sites are beside each other and it's just basically popping over, or maybe they're maybe they're across London and she can't be in 2 places at once. So you then need to make that adjustment. So anyway, we'll surely send out announcements about that, but that's coming in as well. Any questions on that, or all fairly straightforward?
Yeah.
Great.
Jonathan, there was one question before we move on from Valerie in the chat, which was regards to the sync with calendar. So she said, can clients and subcontractors sync with calendar through the dashboard?
Can the subcontractors?
It says, can clients and subcontractors sync with calendar through the dashboard?
So that's only for your calendar. It won't, unless the subcontractors set up a Houzz Pro account, they won't be able to sync with Houzz Pro. So you need an account to sync that up. So yeah, the subbies will get the notification and they'll be able to manually put it into their calendar. Whereas you guys, if you create this, it will sync up with your Outlook or your iCalendar or your Gmail calendar. So the subcontractors and clients, unless they have a Houzz Pro account, they won't be able to sync. Perfect. Yeah, and then I suppose as a part of this, so we've run through like the schedule, some of its capabilities and assigning tasks. So you can assign tasks independent of the schedule as well. So like they don't have to be assigned to a specific item within the schedule. So you can just create and assign tasks very much in the same way I showed you previously. And then one of I think is the workhorse of the project management is the daily logs. So I don't know, are people working with daily logs in any capacity? Yes, no? I'm sure everybody's taking notes on what happens and just to review, but I mean, I'm particularly useless. I couldn't tell you where I was on Monday, let alone what I was, doing. So, and daily logs is the kind of the name for them. But, I see a lot of people doing, say, weekly logs. And again, that's fairly straightforward. This feature as well is very much mobile friendly and even mobile first. So you can take daily logs from site on your app, on your tablet, or basically those two, or on your desktop as well. And that's basically just keeping note of everything that's gone on site. So you can do it, as I said, as a weekly log. So started on Monday and ended on Friday, save, and it'll just come up here as that time. What I see people doing is writing, say, an overview of some of the things are jobs complete for the week, jobs we didn't get to, and jobs we're doing next week. So this is, say, for communication for the clients. Again, you can share this to the client dashboard. And I think what Anna was saying there is avoiding those like weekend texts, like, why isn't the kitchen been installed? If you send that in advance, there was a delay in delivery of the materials, the kitchen didn't get installed, but we managed to get the wallpaper up in the upstairs bedrooms instead of installing the kitchen. Again, it's just a kind of a record of what's happened, and it's a really good way to communicate with the clients. But also, you don't have to share it with the clients. So anything that happens on site, like if there was a delivery, materials got delivered to the office instead of the site, something like that happens all the time. And you can just put those daily logs in. So when you're going back over what's been going on, you've got this basically daily log. So every time you log on to your Houzz Pro account, something as simple as, the carpenter didn't show up this today. And then when the carpenter sends you an invoice for 2 days work, you're saying, well, hang on a second. I'm looking here on the 27th to the 31st, and I see that you didn't show up on site that day, so I'm not paying you for that second day. Things like that you think you're going to remember in 2 months' time, you can put in these daily logs, and again, it just gets associated with that account, and very easy to have a look through it.
So when you share access to that, it's per log, not the whole daily log board. If you give access to your clients or subcontractors to the daily logs, they just get the ones that you've selected individually, or?
Yes.
Okay, and do they get notified when you actually give access, or do you have to do it, send a link and or tell them to check the dashboard?
They'll be notified. If you share it to the client dashboard, they'll get a notification to say there's been an update to the client dashboard. Log in and have a look at it, and you can put the daily logs in there. Okay. You can put your weather in as well. It's pretty handy. Again, you can kind of just see what was the weather on the day by putting in your postcode. It'll just bring that in. And again, what you can do is ask your team to fill out the daily logs. What was completed on site for the week? So again, using the holiday example, if you're away on holiday and you can log in on your phone and you can see, oh yeah, this site's moving along nicely, the team have everything under control, or there's been a complete disaster and the materials have all arrived and they're smashed. So we need to kind of revisit that. So it gives you visibility from afar. Again, as I said, if you've got 4 or 5 sites on the go, and the people who are managing it, they fill in the daily logs. It's pretty handy.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
I used daily logs for a project, and it was great for all the things that you just mentioned. Everyone can be on board with what's happened on site and decisions, etc. The one difficulty I found with it, let's say a decision was made that, for example, a wall light should be placed at a certain height. It was requested by the client. 2 months passes, and the client maybe makes a comment on the position of the wall light. And you go, I'm sure I remember something about changing it. It was done a while ago. I can't remember. So when you need to then refer back to the note, it was really tricky to find. So unlike, for example, your Gmail, where you can go in the search engine and you can search the word wall lights and it will show you all the emails containing that word. I don't know whether I couldn't, you might have that feature, but could you, if you do, could you please show it yeah, how can you find something with keywords for daily logs when asked?
So it should come up here in the search. So this is a global search for everything on your Houzz account. So I've just looked at light, and I can see things in my schedules. So electrical sockets, lights, appliances. I can't think of a good example for a daily log, but it should, if you've got light in here, that search should turn up in your daily log as well.
So then the search result would show daily logs containing that word.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I can get the take off. I'm trying to think of examples now that I would have. Files, help center, takeoffs. Yeah, so even like help centers will come up there, and then like files. So like again, well, if you've got your files named, obviously I have a lot of files named takeoffs, but if you have like receipt, so you know, as a postcode or something, it should turn up as well.
So in search, but you can search for anything and it will show up all the files.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so test that out and let me know if it should do. Hopefully that resolves your issue. What we're bringing in as well for the daily logs and actually across all of the Houzz Pro system is tags. So you can tag a project and tag daily logs, tag items within it, your financial views and dashboards. So you can like tag them as certain things, and then you can pull up your tag and you'll see everything that you've tagged. So that's again, that's being worked on. It should be in hopefully soon.
Thank you.
Also you can attach pictures to daily logs. Again, works completed, deliveries, whatever you want, you can attach it. Again, daily logs is very much a mobile friendly feature. So if you have the app, you can just go around taking pics and it should turn up there for you guys. Create tasks out of your daily logs, works completed, assign it to a schedule, all of that. So yeah. Any questions on the daily logs or tasks or anything?
Yeah, maybe how mobile friendly is the client dashboard for this? Is it better that they go on a laptop, or they can always consult through their phone quite easily? I've never seen the interface of the client dashboard aside from on my laptop.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, if you have your app, like that's kind of it is what you see. So they'll have all the messages there. They'll basically have everything that you share with them. If it is a daily log, they can click into it and they'll see it the same as you see your daily logs. Again, if you just log into it there, you'll be able to see them on your phone. It's pretty good. Messages are great. Schedule, you'll be able to see the schedule comes in calendar view. And it's only in calendar view on the phone. So, you can just flick across, see what's going on, see what tasks are assigned, things like that. So it's pretty user friendly.
Okay, the reason I'm asking that is because they don't have an app, so they have to go through the browser on their phone. So yeah, I'll have.
It is pretty user friendly.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it is like mobile compatible. So if I open that link, because it's like a link, if I open that link, it will come up on my phone. It will just look different, just slightly laid out differently, but everything is still the same because of how you open things on a laptop is wider, and then on your phone it's much more narrow. But you can still see everything.
Maybe I missed this. And how do you synchronize it with the calendar, with your calendar?
So it's just you can go to your settings and then integrations, calendar, and then hook up like it's fairly straightforward. Like if you're signing in with Gmail, you sync up your calendars, and then as you're on the schedule, in the actions, it goes like sync with calendar. So what you need to do is at an account level, sync your calendar through the settings, And then as you're happy with your schedule, you can just send all of those things to your calendar.
Thank you.
Just showing that's on an iPad. That's the App Pro account. So it is quite easy to use and on the mobile.
Very good. Thank you. Very nice.
Currently we use Trello to kind of track our to-do done in progress things. Is there anything within what you've shown us that we can kind of have something similar where it's really easy format?
In what sense? For like, say, the tasks, or?
Yeah, so just trying to figure out how we can kind of move off Trello so everything is in here, but I can't quite work out where we'd put those tasks. And
Sure. So if you have if you go to search again and your task center, this is basically all of the tasks that you will have, and you can see them here. You can mark them as complete and work down through them. Now I know Trello. I've worked with Trello, like, so it doesn't. We don't quite have just yet those sort of blocks that you can create yourself, but you can search based on due date and assignees. So if you just like want to search for, Georgia and apply, it'll just show the tasks that's been applied to Georgia, or whatever team members or subcontractors or clients. You'll be able to just search by that specifically. Yep. So it's not the same as Trello, but maybe not a million miles different.
Yeah, but you've still got that open, so I'm assuming it, completed, etc. So that would work. So this task center, is there one central task center, or is there a task center for each project? And is there a way of having an overview?
The task center is all the tasks that you have, and then when you go into, say, an individual project, you'll see then the tasks here. So I only have one set up, but again, you'll have it there. But this was only for this project.
Real. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Also on the task center, correct me if I'm wrong, Jonathan, but when you go back to the task center, you can then filter it at that stage for all the projects you have, or no?
Yeah. You can filter it based on project, or you can filter it based on 2 or 3 projects. You can filter it based on due date.
Yeah. So you wouldn't have to necessarily go into your project. You can see an overview of that from the task center, or you can go into your project as well. Yeah. Right.
Brilliant. I think that's all from me, folks. Hope that was helpful. Get in, like, I encourage you, set up your first schedule, assign tasks to team members, and play around with it. And if you do have any questions, myself or the team would be happy to run through them.
Perfect.
Over to you, Anna.
Yeah, I feel like clapping. That was great. Cool. Thank you, Anne. All right. So as we wrap up, I wanted to take the time to go through your takeaways. Hopefully you feel like you learned something, and then talk about next steps as well. So please call out if you can see how schedule, tasks, and daily logs on their own or together can help you keep your projects on track. Hopefully that is a big thumbs up. I'm getting some nods. Lovely. So what are your key takeaways from this? David, thank you for the thumbs up there. Do you feel like there's one thing, or maybe everything, that you can implement into your day-to-day life, as of today, basically? What are your takeaways, guys?
For me personally, it's I've actually used Excel sort of projects and things like that, but I think it's quite good when you've got a client, like I've just got a new client from Houzz, and so he's already on the app, and he's a young guy, so it's encouraged me now to then set it all up to work with him and be able to share that information. Some people are not that tech savvy, but having a sheet that you can even print out for them that's in a professional format, I think would work very well. So, and I think sort of having it where you're getting the inquiries and then working with those people again. I've just completed a project, but if I'd realised that this was available, it would have worked quite well for a past project. So I'm quite keen to continue using this.
Amazing. Hear that. Better late than never in terms of you knowing it now as well, so you can use it going forward.
It's like everything, you get so used to just doing the things you do and spinning plates. But I think this is, yeah, I'm glad I've turned up today, so that's good. Thank you.
That's amazing to hear, Anne. And I love as well that you mentioned kind of the best of both worlds. So, you know, I do think that a lot of clients are more tech savvy and they do expect you to have, you know, tools that you're using. But on the flip side, there's still some people that aren't. So you can cater to both whilst keeping yourself on track with the tools. You can give them a printout or whatever suits them.
And
So
also is his oversharing, as probably a few people in this room will be able to say, sometimes it's not helpful giving them every single piece of information because quite frankly, it makes your life harder. But if you can promise things are going to happen and sort of have it sort of mapped out to a certain degree, I think that just does make you look professional. However, there is an element where sometimes keeping them in the dark is quite handy too.
yeah, exactly. And you have that choice, right? So you could print them out the schedule that you wanted them to see, and then you've got your own schedule that you're editing and updating. So absolutely, it's basically however you want to use it and how it's best for your business and best for that particular client.
And I mean, I'm a bit naive with this. I'm not sure. I pay for the Houzz Pro all the time, and I do get clients in a very rural area on the north side of the Lake District. So for me, it's a godsend having Houzz inquiry, you know, getting these inquiries through Houzz. But what I'm interested in is if you use all of this, is there extra costs, or is this part of what you know? It might be that you have to come back to me on that. You know, I'm not saying you might.
So you're on, it sounds like you're on the ultimate package.
And you know, I just thought that, I'm not sure what it's called, but I've been doing it for a long time. Yeah.
Well, we have starter, essential, and ultimate. If you're on essential and ultimate, you have, I think, all of the features within Houzz Pro. If you're on starter, you don't have a schedule or takeoffs. So it sounds like if you've got access to the schedule, it sounds like you're at least on essential or ultimate. But yeah, there is a pricing page where you can see like the breakdown of all the features. But yeah, it's just starter that only has a couple that aren't included.
Right, okay, I'm sure I'm past that. Yeah, thank you very much anyway.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for sharing, Anne. Anyone else? I'd love to hear from a couple more of you.
I will definitely take it on board. It's just always for me a matter of habit, because once you don't have this habit, in the beginning it's very hard and it's like overcomplicates things sometimes for you because you're not into it. But once you're getting into it, in my practice, I usually don't get my clients into that many details. I usually have the project's schedule in the beginning. I put it somewhere on the side, and then we just follow it. If something happens, I modify it or adjust it. But usually they don't follow like day-to-day things, because it's that's why they hire us. I mean, to simplify their life sometimes. So I need to make myself to get to this habit. Then I guess, because it looks very useful. I used to work a lot in corporations, and we used Microsoft Project, which was always in our daily life. So I think it will not be that difficult to adjust myself to this one.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I know exactly what you mean. When I work at Houzz, and when we introduce a new feature, I'm like, oh God, how am I going to learn this? But you just have to practice, and it just takes a little bit of it might take you 20 minutes on that first day you use it to really like, okay, what does this button do? But once you actually start using it every day, it's like, learning a language, right? It's like immersion. and you will just get used to it. So you have to invest a little bit of time, but then that pays off in the long run for being able to like easily have this central database of all the information, communicating if you have team members, assigning them tasks and getting it all in one place. It pays off and saves you time in the long run. So yeah, definitely give it a go, Irina, and we'll all be here to support you if you have any queries, for sure.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to share before we round off? No? All right, I'll leave it there then. Oh, Paul, go ahead, go on.
Sorry, yeah, just one other quick question. Logging hours from employees, can that be done to each job? So the guys can log their hours and they will go automatically to the job, or not?
Yes, when you do that, you can do that per job. So you log the hour. If the employees are doing it, they need to log in to the app. But if you're doing it for them, you can assign it to a specific project.
Okay. So, and then is there a cost for the guys to have the app, or pass? You said.
There is for like, so if you're doing admin stuff, there is. So if you're setting up schedules, assigning tasks, you're just assigning hours and work hours and just like basically receiving information. No.
Okay, so if the information comes across to me and I log it, there's not a cost involved in that. But if they're on site and they just end a job and say stick 8 hours on, will that automatically go to the job?
Yeah, so that's team members. So let me come back to you on that, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
It's different in the US than in the UK, and I think in the UK it's currently free. So I'm hoping that stays the same. But I'll clarify and come back to you.
Lovely, appreciate that.
No worries.
All right, guys, thank you so much for your participation and getting engaged. Lots of questions. It's always way more fun for me and Jonathan when you are super engaged. You've been a great group today. So before we end the call, I just want to say, make sure you're utilizing the help center. So when you're in Houzz Pro, in your bottom left corner, we have info of how you can access the help. So we've got articles where you can learn yourself and watch videos. You can also contact support. And if you are an ultimate, you can contact your account manager. And we're here to help you kind of get engaged. But definitely, do explore it. It is very intuitive, and there'll be things that you'll be able to figure out that you thought initially, oh, I can't do that, and then you actually can. So give it a go, but we are here to help you. And one final thing is that Jonathan in the chat has listed a short questionnaire. So if you don't mind opening that up, it's just a very quick questionnaire. I think it's like 4 questions, take you 1 minute. We'd love to hear your feedback on the session, what you thought of Jonathan and I, be honest. Also what you thought of the content, and also what else you might like to see from us so that we can plan future workshop sessions and future academies. So yeah, we'd really appreciate that if you could do it. So I think we're perfectly at time. So thank you so much for attending. It's been really fun, as I said, to go through this with you all. And hopefully we'll see you at the next session as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
Ooh,